The pasuk in Eov, it's Yud Tes Chavav, chapter 19, verse 26, says an incredible idea. Mi besarai echsa Elokah. From my flesh, I see God. And they say about Rav Shach, Rav Elazar Menachem Shach, when he was over 100 years old, he would hold up his fingers and move them and say, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem is moving my fingers. This is quite an incredible idea that we can really, really, I don't want to use the word see, which is the word that's used, but perceive holiness and the Almighty through our bodies. And I want to share with you a very, very powerful idea from the Arizal, that we know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Shefa, his divine influence, comes down to this world through channels, and the channels go from higher to lower. These are called the Sfiros, Partzufim, and our body is set up exactly in the same format as this conduit for the divine influence, starting from our heads, where the neshama is seated in the brain, it's very high, the neshama, and the lave, the heart, which is the where the ruach is seated, lower level neshama, the emotions and the speech, and going down to the liver, where the nefesh is, and the between the nefesh and the ruach, between the lower level of the soul and the higher level of the soul, we have a diaphragm here. And says the Arizal, because there is also a separation between these two, so that the divine influence that affects the upper part of our body and the middle part of our body and the lower part of our body, it has to be separated by a mechitza, by a blocking, so that it should stay in its place and not move. So says the Arizal, exactly, people say, well, scientists will say, well, this happened in the body, that it's evolution or whatever it might be, whatever theories they might have. But in truth is that God designed our bodies exactly parallel, so we could look at them to the upper worlds, so we could look at our body in amazement and understand what's going on. And this is actually the reason why Hasidim wear a gartel, is to separate between the lower parts of the body and the upper parts of the body, to make a distinction of the holiness that exists from the higher part of the body between the lower part of the more physical part of the body. That's the idea behind the gartel. And I saw a very interesting idea from the Sfas Emes. The Sfas Emes says really a person should not have a garment around their neck when they daven, because that separates from their head to their heart, right? It's like a separation between their head and their heart. So someone once asked me, so what about a tie? A lot of people wear, like myself, we wear ties. So what are you going to say about that? And the answer to that is that the tie is batal. It's considered subsidiary to the clothing, and therefore there's an argument to say that it's not separate. But there are those who don't wear a tie for davening because they consider it a separation. And on the other hand, like my friend Rabbi Yaakov Roblowski, when he was a bacher, he used to put on a tie because he said it's honorable to wear a tie for tefillah. So basically, whatever you do for tefillah, whether you wear a tie, whether you don't wear a tie, you have someone to back you up or someone to say that you're wrong. In any event, this concept, from my flesh I see God, is very powerful, and we should try and think about it whenever we can. As I mentioned, not long ago I had some very, very serious medical issues that only lasted, Baruch Hashem, 7 hours. When my son was makabel to say Modani with Kavanah, they immediately went away. But I made Belinet or a Kabbalah myself, which I've been trying to keep, to say Ashiyatzer from this little card that I was given here at the Kosel, that someone graciously gave me. It's the Ili Nishmas Chaya Zissel Bas Shmuel Elimelech. And to really appreciate when you say Ashiyatzer, Chalim, there's so many cavities and organs and functions going on in the body that if we if we recognize the infinite wisdom that went into designing ourselves, then we can definitely come to a greater relationship and love and closeness to Hashem Yisbarach, who gave us these bodies as a gift. So let's all try to keep that in mind as much as possible. And it's a very big school for health, because when we don't realize how holy our bodies are, then Hashem reminds us, Rahman al by giving us health problems. The more that we keep in mind the greatness, the infinite wisdom that Hashem has placed in our bodies, the more likely we are to be spared from health problems. Of course, there's divine accounting, which we don't understand, but this is certainly a very great school to be healthy. To say Asher Yatzur, the most intention you can have, to stop, say it from the card, that's even better. And just to maintain a constant awareness about the infinite wisdom that Hashem used to create our bodies, like all of the other infinitely wise things that He does during the day, especially when things seem to go wrong. To realize it's all a function of His infinite wisdom, as we say in Psukim Zimra, God's IQ is infinite. We cannot possibly fathom it, but we could just look back and see, wow, incredible greatness. So let's keep that in mind, and Hashem should help us in everything we do. Amen.